And just like that, we're back. Another YouTube video. Who would have thought? Not me. Anyway, how are you all doing? I hope everyone's doing well. And I mean that, genuinely mean that, you know, especially, I say this month specifically, Mental Health Awareness Month, September. Look out for each other. I'm rooting for you all. Training's really hard. Don't make it, you know, don't fight this alone. If you're struggling with it, reach out. But yeah, as the title of this video goes, this video is actually more on why most of you suck at trading prop firms. And why are we doing this video? Well, I and the team and I, have been creating, I guess, a little bit more content around prop firms, cheat sheets, how to beat them, tips and tricks, etc. Because we started a comparison website called propfirm.compare. If you want to check that out, feel free to check that out. However, this video is not a plug for that. And yeah, basically, I've just realized that most of you suck at the same thing, right? Everyone's trying to race to the finish line, and no one's actually really focused on how they get started in this space. So I thought, you know what, we'll do a video. We've got some time, we're driving, let's take the camera, let's set it up, and talk about why I believe most of you suck at prop firm trading. Because look, sadly, there is a bit of a difference between trading personal capital and trading prop firm capital, right? There are a bunch of really good prop firms out there, all reputable. I say all reputable. The ones that I'll mention are definitely reputable. And the reality is trading on those prop firms is a little bit harder than trading on your personal account. But if used in the right way, it can actually benefit you, because it helps you create the rules and the responsibilities to becoming a good trader. These rules are in place, obviously, for their benefit. That's the harsh reality. However, you can use them to your benefit if you are a bit smarter about it, right? So what are the main things that I see everybody struggle with? Scaling. Hey, look, I don't know who needs to hear this. Maybe it's you listening to this right now. However, buying 50 accounts when you can't pass one isn't going to do anything other than run your bank balance dry pretty quick. And look, yes, it's attractive. It's attractive to buy 20 Apex accounts on the thought of being the next Trader Kane, the next JCap, the next Manveer, the next whoever. The reality is that the odds are severely, and I mean severely, stacked against you to do that. So the truth of the matter is I don't know necessarily if you are going to do that. Some people have been able to replicate that. Sorry, we're basically driving through a bit of a forest right now, so the light might be a bit dark. But the reality is you're probably not going to do that, and it's going to cost you a lot of money because you're not going to pass first time, etc., etc. So what do I always recommend people? Start with one account. You know, there are firms that are geared up towards beginners, right? iFunder Futures, I think that's my go-to starting firm for 95% of people, right? Their rules are pretty good. You can get good base hits to get, you know, improved consistency, get payouts, scale with them a little bit. And then, yeah, like I think as a general firm, iFunder Futures are a really, really good firm to start grinding your teeth down. Why? Without reading the rules off the top of my head, their rules are very much, there's some of their accounts, especially like their core account, it's just very, very catered towards people that are getting into the industry for the first time, right? Or buying prop accounts, futures prop accounts for the first time, right? Should you buy 20 of them? Well, no, I don't think you actually can trade 20 of them. I think you can only trade 5. But my recommendation is actually just to trade one. Why not just trade one of them? If you can prove that you can make money consistently with those accounts over a period of a month, then you can look to scale. Then you can look to do whatever. So I see a lot of people go, I need to buy 5, I need to buy 10, I need to buy accounts that have the quickest payouts, blah, blah. You just don't have an edge though. Like, I could give you the best account in the world. Like, you only can gamble on those accounts so much, right? You have to have some sort of edge to consistently extract money from these firms. And if you don't have that edge, well, it's a waste of money for you ultimately. So trying to scale as fast as possible. That's the number one mistake. Without a shadow of a doubt, number one mistake I see everyone make. Secondly, just because your edge is present in your personal account doesn't mean that you need to trade the entire move on a prop account, for example, right? There are consistency rules on these prop accounts. I mean, you don't need to trade that much, actually. If you get a good win in the morning, you don't really need to hang around for the afternoon. And the reality is why the fuck would you? Truthfully, your job's to get paid consistently from these firms, not to make stupid amounts of money. And I'll come on to that in a second, right? Get your base hits, right? You do not need to trade these accounts all day, every day. Your job is to just make a set amount of money as consistently as possible and then dip, right? Your job's to extract money. Your job is not to build a big buffer, right? Your job is to, as soon as that money is withdrawable, withdraw it. It doesn't matter if you make some mistakes on that account. Once that account has been paid for, you've made some money, you have the liquidity to then actually get back into that account. If you fail it, if you go into drawdown, if you do whatever, right? It's not going to be plain sailing. You are going to lose. You have to be really comfortable with doing that, right? So go for base hits. Don't go for these monstrous trades. Why do I say that as someone that's made well over $2.5 million from prop firms now? Well, the reality of that is I made 1.86 million of that 2.5 million. So just shy, of 2 million from one single payout with Apex. I made an additional 300k with them, so roughly 2.23 million-ish over the course of that. And what did I do? Did I go for monstrous base hits? Some days, yeah, I did. Some days I did. However, I would say for the first 50 days of that account, where I would say 95% of that profit came from, I took basically the same trade every day, my model. However, I aimed for 100 ticks or the take profit that my model gave me, right? So if my model gave me a take profit that was 200 ticks away, as soon as I got 100 ticks in profit, I would close the trade, right? And I pretty much exclusively traded 2 contracts the entire time, most of the time. And then I would say about 40 days in, I started to scale those contracts up. But again, after scaling, I would say only like 30% of the profit came from that scaling phase, because I got to a point where I was scaling too much and my losses were getting a bit big and my winners were also getting a bit big. So yeah, so overall, base hits, right? Definitely go for base hits. And then lastly, these are my top 3, right? And lastly, we've gone over trying to scale too fast, trying to go for too much of the move, and there's going to be a theme here, is you guys are just in the market all of the time, right? It just comes back to edge. A lot of you do not have edge in the market, and that is just a harsh reality that you are just gambling, right? What does your data say? Does your data say that in an uptrending market you can trade more or less, etc.? Like, go back to basics, figure out where your edge is present and where it's not, because a lot of you go on a good run, and I also used to do this loads, which is why I can say it with so much confidence. You used to go on a good run, get decent amount of profit, decent amount of payouts, etc., and then you just can't catch a break. Like, you just can't. And why? Because you're trying to force it. You're trying to force a buffer. Why? Because you don't have edge. You don't know when you should be trading. You don't know when you shouldn't be trading. You don't know, all of the things that make a good trader are truly present when you're trading prop, whether you like that or not, right? Should you trade London session? Does your model have a high win rate during London? Should you trade Asia session? No, I can just tell you that for a fact. You just shouldn't. And a lot of people learn a model from someone, find a model themselves, whatever. Most of the time nowadays, it's learning from somebody, and then they overtrade, right? They overtrade the fuck out of it. They get up in a little bit of profit, down a little bit of profit, up a little bit of profit. The reality is less is more in trading, especially when you're trading prop, right? Less is more. You don't need to be in the market all the time. Sorry, I'm just trying to focus on getting off this roundabout because it's a bit crazy. Less is more. You should just try to get your base hits, and then you should look to scale, right? Prop firms, whether you like it or not, are against you in a lot of ways, right? The successful traders, they will look to get them on board. They will. At some point, they'll look to move them to live and become friends with them. But for most of you, and this is just a harsh reality, and I'll talk on this a little bit more, is props benefit when you lose. That's just the whole business model. However, there are some props out there that obviously want to do good, but the reality is the evaluation model is set up so the losers pay for the winners, and the winners get paid by the losers. That's just the way that the business model is set up. So, do I think that props are bad? No. Look, and let me just talk about this very quickly. I think props are by far the best route into retail trading for 100% of people. If you are new to trading and you are thinking about trading futures, capping your downside via props is 100% the best thing to do. However, I say that from somebody that has the ability to just be a bit more strict about it themselves, I guess. I've watched several people get into prop trading and they just treat a prop account like a fucking coin in a slot machine. Okay, our max contract's long. If I make it, I make it. If not, we just have another spin on the slot machine. A new coin goes in, tap at a credit card, blah, 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 blah. Don't do that. I'm telling you, I've watched it ruin people. I've watched people mount up tens of thousands of debt trying to get rich quick using prop firms. It's not going to work. It's just not going to work. I tell you this as someone that has spent more time educating people on prop than 90% of people in this space. It's hard. It's not easy. You are not going to just flip it and get a win. You're just not, guys. I'm just straight up telling you that. You need to have some sort of edge. Why? Because the market isn't going to reward you all the time. It's just not. You are going to lose. You are going to suck at it for a minute. 2 months ago, I was fucking hating the market. This grind up, absolutely hated it. It was horrible, right? Now I'm kind of chilling. Last 2 months been fucking amazing. Absolutely amazing. However, if I was trading prop during that month hell and I was forcing trades, I would have blown hundreds of accounts, right? I just would have. The market conditions did just not suit me, right? I took 8 trades on my personal account in 2 months ago. We're in September now. 2.5 months ago-ish, right? And honest to God, I would say 6 of the 8 were losers. And they were just horrible. Why? Because I was short bias, because we were just going up and I was trying to grab some pullback. We just never got it. Then we got it. Then I caught some longs. Then we just going into this ranging market where it suits me and it's beneficial to me and whatever. That just comes down to my edge, right? So, I don't know. However, prop's good. I think it's the best route in. Why? Because an account, let's just say Funding Ticks, for example, they have an account that costs $50, $70. Again, forgive me, numbers are not my recall for numbers, it's not very good. They have an account where you can cap your payout $1,000 every 5 days, and the account's the cheapest account in the world. Why wouldn't you trade that? That's just, if you can prove that you can make $1,000 in 5 days, it's $4,000 a month. If you trade Monday to Friday, if you can prove you can do that, it's $5,000 a month. $4,000 a month, right? It's pretty good. Get 3 of those accounts over, 3 months, whatever. Suddenly, if you can prove you can do it, you're making an average $10,000 a month. I don't know, factor in some resets, factor in some costs, whatever, right? So yeah, it's more accessible now than it's ever been, and there is so much prop wars, I guess, that it's been branded. There's just so much competition in the space right now for props, driving innovation, new things, etc. So, I'll wrap up the video with this. What props do I recommend? Well, this is the plug bit, is all the props I recommend are on propfirm.compare. They have my reviews on there. We only list firms that we've worked with or can work with or have found easy to work with, right? I get DMs from all the prop firms. Hey, we want to pay you $4,000 a post plus 30% commissions on everyone you refer to us. No thanks. I don't trust you, don't want to work with you, etc. So I haven't done this for the money. Sure, the money's nice. Facts. You know, some of these firms that I'm happy to recommend, we're going to get paid affiliate commission for that. That's whatever. However, the affiliate commission doesn't move the needle in my life or the business's life. It just doesn't. It's just a way of providing value for people that already ask me these questions. Which firms do you recommend? They're all the firms I recommend. However, if I was starting today, right, and I'm sure a lot of people want to know this, is what route would I go? My Fund of Futures, I think their core account is one of the best accounts for a beginner in this space. You can prove that you can earn money with one singular account with one firm. You can look to scale with that firm, right? At some point, you're going to hit live cap there or the move to live. Again, I'm not 100% familiar with the move to live with my Fund of Futures core account. Secondly, what would be the next firm? Well, for me, I would say Tradeify, right? If you can prove you've got edge and you can make money, Tradeify straight to funded accounts are, I would say, some of the best accounts in the industry, right? You've got the ability to buy direct funded, so no challenge phase. We haven't really touched on that, but you can, again, it's pretty simple, self-explanatory. You basically skip the challenge phase. The accounts are more expensive. However, everything you start making from then is your money. Again, tighter consistency rules, more things, etc. All the rules are different for all of these firms. Then, new upcoming firm, again, I spoke to them a lot, Lucid, again, very similar to Tradeify. Newer, they haven't proven themselves as much. However, I fuck with them heavy, and a little bit of a teaser, by the time this video comes out, Tradeovate, NinjaTrader will be very much on the horizon for them. So yeah, that's currently what I'm waiting for. They do offer Project X, not a fan of it, and that I'll speak on that at the end. So, my Fund of Futures, Tradeify, Lucid. Then, I think personally the best accounts for me and someone that's a little bit more advanced right now, Funded Next, 50Ks, 6 times 50Ks, payouts every 3 days. It's a little bit harder. You have 2K drawdown. You can withdraw $1,500 per account, which means you can withdraw 9K across the 6 accounts. Everyone asks me why not go for the 25Ks? Well, I think the 50Ks are better. A little bit more drawdown, a little bit more buffer. My model isn't a high win rate model, so it suits me better. And then last but not least, I would Funding Ticks, Alpha Futures, you know, the CFD firms that have moved into the future space, reputable, got plenty of money. The operational side of things is great. And yeah, I personally I think that they are some of the new up and coming accounts. I want to see how they progress a little bit more. But overall, I think they're good. You know, I'm trading with Funded Ticks, trading with Alpha, trading with my Fund of Futures. Basically, I have the max allocation with 50Ks with all of those firms that I mentioned. And last but not least, I would say if you are very experienced, you're getting consistent payouts, you're progressing well, Apex, right? It's the firm that I would wrap with, and there is one more bonus firm at the end, but again, I haven't really worked with them a whole bunch, is Apex, right? Apex for me, they paid me $2 million. I can't fault them. The harsh reality is that they are just more of an advanced firm. The intraday trailing drawdown does hurt a lot of people because people aren't used to the way that it works and how they manage it, etc. So I would say that if you're a little bit more experienced, or you've got, you know, some sort of edge, you've got some payouts behind you, when Apex run that 90% off sale or the bonus, you know, on evals, the bonus discount on evals, on activation fees, you should go for it. I truly think you should go for it. But you shouldn't do any of this, right, if you can't fix the 3 things or the 4 things I said at the start. You know, people need to stop over trading. They need to stick to their rules. They need to make sure that they have edge, and they need to not try and rush the scaling phase. I see so many people do this, and I see it ruin so many people, both mentally, financially, etc. And we should just combat that. Stick to your rules, you know? I did an event in person that will eventually come to fruition. It was a free event. We did it, 20 people, 20 unprofitable traders. I've had like 5 messages from the people there saying, "Hey Kane, I listened to your advice and I've turned I've turned the bad into the good. I've come out of drawdown. I'm requesting payouts now, etc." And my advice to most of them was just very tailored, but it was more, do you have edge? Can you prove that you know your model works over a period of time in an uptrending market, a downtrending market, a sideways market, because that's important. And what are your rules for getting in the market? And if you break those rules, stop trading. If you stick to those rules and you get a loser, it's a good trade. If you stick to those rules and you get more winners than losers, because that's what the data says, then you shouldn't be worried about taking a losing trade, right? So yeah, been a bit of a yappy video, and sorry that I get a bit lost along these ways, because I don't sit here and have some sort of script to read from, especially when I'm driving, right? I just want to see everyone win. I want to see everyone do well. And yeah, you know, these prop firms are some of the best ways to get involved in this space right now. And I see a lot of people making silly money and using that money to start personal accounts, because that's the goal. The goal eventually is to move into live, into a personal account, and actually make this a career. Who knows? Prop firms might not be around forever. Regulation may arrive and things may change. But right now, they're here and they're here to stay. So make hay while the sun shines. If you're unsure about which firms to buy from, propfirm.compare. And yeah, that's it. I have not really much more to say other than look after yourselves. Trading's hard. Life can be really tough at times. If you're struggling in any way, reach out to someone. It's Mental Health Awareness Month, and the world is better with you in it. Let me just finish with that. I appreciate every single one of you. Look after yourselves, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.